area in a home that Floyd built for us.
Yeah, we're located on the western side of the Catskill Mountains, Susquehanna Valley area, and we have a sizable property that can support harvesting of some wood periodically. The search began about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. The internet being what it is, a wonderful resource. Came across a website that listed and ranked various wood boilers then according to their efficiency, and at the top of the list was the GARN. I was close to making a decision, and I learned that there was an energy fair in Wisconsin. 72 hours later we returned, and it was 2,200 miles round trip. But the whole point of it was to be able to see the GARN and touch it, and meet the people who designed and developed it, and crawl inside it, and just to see for myself what this green machine looks like, and it was indeed green. Then I came around to the thought that simplicity is better, and because it's simple, it works so well. It's a simplicity of design that makes it possible to believe that it will last for a while. The thermal storage, I think, is the biggest selling feature of the GARN, because you have a beautiful fire going at its optimum temperature, and you have clean, efficient combustion going on. And put that heat somewhere so that you can draw off it and use it later. And it just makes a lot of sense. Our GARN unit is almost the smallest they make, and it's able to do it, do our heating job very well. It's the 1500, which means 1,500 gallons of water wrapped around the firebox.
I'm the first one out of bed in the mornings, and I just get right up out of bed and go downstairs and go out and walk out to the unit to start it up. Very easy to do. Put a few pieces of kindling in there, and then the logs, and 2 pieces of newspaper, and off it goes. And then I come back in to shower and get ready for work, and I would say that whole process probably takes me 5 minutes, maybe 10, if that. You know, it's really easy.
We're currently heating 2 buildings, about equal in square footage of roughly 2,400 square feet. And one building's at 70 degrees and the other building's at 60 degrees. So it's a sizable draw. Hot water is also a component in both buildings. And in the summertime, we burn the GARN as well, and it's about once every 2 days is what I would need to fire it up in order to get all the hot water we would need. In a day like maybe in the 30s during the day and low 20s at night, there would be 2 burns involved, and 2 morning and afternoon sort of thing. When the temperature gets up into the 50s, it's a once-a-day burn.
It's so easy. I mean, you're talking about just a couple of minutes. It's, you know, that can almost be deceiving and sounding like a lot of work, but it's not. You walk out there, you throw a few pieces of wood in, and that's it.
We're into cutting our own wood from the logs that are delivered, and that's been an interesting aspect to our relationship because it's a team effort. We've been married, shall we say, more than 30 years now, and this has been a wonderful addition to our life, is going out there and doing that moving, splitting, and cutting activity.
It just feels good. When I get up in the morning to go out there and walk out to start up the fire, it just feels so good to feel like I'm more a part of what is really keeping us warm, what is really giving us the hot water. I like feeling more in touch with it versus just this dial on the wall that you don't think about.
Last winter seemed to be shorter in a sense. It didn't seem to drag on. Being called to go outside every day and put a hat and coat on, you would have thought just the opposite. But there was something that happened. The relationship we built with this unit.
When you talk about a relationship, I mean, we've named it. We call it Bill. So we have to go visit Bill.
Bill's hungry.
Yeah.
Taking this on a slightly personal note, I have been developing this pre-hypertension, as my doctor calls it. And it's a blood pressure that just is creepingly rolling up. I was amazed at last spring when I went for my checkup that the blood pressure that I had then was back to what I was 20 years ago. And it was from splitting wood, carton wood. And I'm very happy about that and very interested in spending the rest of my life carting wood, just to stay healthy. And I feel better when I do it. And every aspect of this lifestyle is good for us.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the carbon cycle, when you take oil out of the ground and combust it, it turns into carbon dioxide. And at this point, we don't have a natural mechanism by which we can recreate oil. When you grow a tree and you put it into a burner and combust it, carbon dioxide and a seed will create another tree. So it's a cycle that makes sense.
There's a lot of back and forth banter in the local papers and stuff about wood burning being concerns and becoming more environmentally questionable. More and more people are becoming aware that there are ways to do it more environmentally friendly, which the GARN is environmentally friendly. I mean, that was one of the selling points for us, actually.
You're seeing that plume of thick gray smoke coming out of some of these outdoor wood boilers is depressing. Drive through a valley in the countryside here to see the whole valley lay and to see that cloud of smoke in there. It doesn't happen with our unit. There is a startup smoke for 10 minutes. It will have an exhaust that's visible, and after that it's invisible. All you can see is a little wave of the heat that you can, as you look through the gas, as you would look across a parking lot on a hot day. I did a cost comparison when we started this to find out how long our savings would pay back our investment. And back when oil was less than $2 a gallon, I figured it was about 8 or 9 years, maybe 10. The whole idea is that the money we're not spending in oil is what we're using to pay for this investment. And even if it's 20 years, it's still worth it because these units will last a long time. They were first produced back in the 70s as a result of this energy crisis, and those units are still in service. It's a simple design, it works well, and we're very happy with it.
That first year of having the GARN, which we've just gone through, which included a winter and the summer, as you mentioned with our hot water, the first year we bought quite a bit of wood. Even though we have a lot of resources right on our own land, but we still saved a good $3,000 or more in fuel costs just in the 1 year, and that's just our startup year. So I anticipate to see that savings increase, really. We haven't purchased any oil since August of '07. It's just like, yes.